students. Today we shall take up the new lesson, that is chapter 12, insulation. So as you know that the sun is the only major source of energy, okay, which is essential for all form of life on the earth surface. So we cannot imagine our life without the solar energy. The sun gives us heat and light, and this energy is responsible for all the climatic variation, for the process of evaporation, photosynthesis and all. So in this particular lesson, okay, we will try to understand the nature of insolation. So insolation is the short form of incoming solar radiation, or it is the radiant energy received by the earth from the sun is known as insolation. Okay. And this solar energy, okay, intercepted by the earth is only a small fraction. Okay, the sun energy or the solar energy is dissipated and scattered before it reaches the earth surface, and therefore the earth is able to intercept, okay, the earth intercept only a small fraction, and this is due to its small size and its great distance from the sun. Okay, and this solar energy reaches the earth in the form of short wave rays. So here you can see, out of the total 100% solar energy, okay, only 51% reaches the earth. So what about the rest 49% now? So 35% is reflected back into the space by the air molecules and dust and all, okay, which is present in the atmosphere. And the 14%, only 14% is absorbed by the atmosphere. So therefore only how many percent reaches the earth's surface? Only 51%. That's out of the total 100%. Only 51% reaches the earth. Okay. So now let us see the terrestrial radiation. So the heat radiated by the earth in the form of long waves. So during the daytime, okay, the earth intercepts this energy, that is energy from the sun, and at night, okay, they reflect it back into the atmosphere, into the space. So this energy, okay, or the heat which is radiated by the earth from, that means from the earth, okay, in the form of long wave is known as a terrestrial radiation. So now what do you mean by the heat balance? Okay, so the state of equilibrium on the earth between incoming insolation from the sun and the outgoing terrestrial radiation from the earth. So when the balance is maintained between the incoming solar radiation and the outgoing terrestrial radiation, we call it as a heat balance or the heat buzzet. Okay, that's a balance between the incoming solar radiation and the outgoing terrestrial radiation is known as a heat buzzet. Now let's see the heating of the atmosphere. So air, like other substances, is also heated. Okay, so here are the four processes: radiation, conduction, convection and advection. So what is radiation first? It's a direct heating of a body or an object by the transmission of heat waves. So as you know that the radiation coming from the sun, okay, they are in the form of short wave rays, and it reaches the earth's surface without much heating the atmosphere, and most of it is reflected from the earth's surface in the form of long wave radiation, and this is known as terrestrial radiation. And this terrestrial radiation is easily absorbed by the air. So therefore the atmosphere is mostly heated by terrestrial radiation than by incoming solar radiation. Okay, as you know that the atmosphere, it absorbs 14% or the 14 unit of incoming solar radiation, but it absorbs 34 unit of the terrestrial radiation. So therefore the atmosphere is mostly heated from ground up. Okay, and therefore the lower layer of the atmosphere are warmer than the upper layer. Then the second one is your conduction. That's a transfer of heat through matter by molecular activity. So like when two bodies of unequal temperature are in contact with each other, So there is a flow of heat from warmer body to the cooler body, and the transfer of heat will continue, okay, until both the bodies will have or they'll attain the same temperature. Okay, so therefore and you know that air is the poor conductor of heat. Okay, and only the lower layer of the atmosphere are heated by conduction. So only the lower layer of the atmosphere are heated by the conduction because they are in direct contact with the earth's surface. Now let's see convection. It's a transfer of heat by the movement of a mass or a substance from one place to another. So the heated air being lighter, okay, it rises, it spreads horizontally, then it cools and sinks. So when this air it reaches down, it will spread, okay, again it will get heated and therefore it rises. So convection current, or we can say the convection is responsible for several circulation in the air. And the last one is the advection. So like wind carry the temperature, okay, of one place to another. So if the place lies in the path of the warm air, okay, the temperature of that particular region will increase, or they'll raise the temperature of that particular region. But if that particular place lies in the path of the cold wind, okay, what will happen? The temperature of that particular region will go down. Now let's see the differential rate of heating of land and water. So as you know that land and water, okay, they have different properties. Therefore, there is a differences in the rate of the absorption and radiation. So land gets heated quickly and cools down quickly, whereas on the other hand, the water bodies, okay, they get heated slowly and cools slowly. So let us understand the properties of land and water first, okay. So number one, land is opaque and water is transparent. So therefore the penetration of insulation, okay, is up to 20 meters in water. Okay, the penetration of insulation, okay, insulation it penetrates up to 20 meter in case of water. So what will happen to the heat? The heat spreads over larger area, and the heat gain per unit of water is very less. Whereas on the other hand, your land is opaque and the penetration of insulation is only up to 1 meter. So therefore the heat gain per unit area of land is more. Okay, so therefore we say land is heated faster, cools faster, whereas water body on the other hand gets heated slowly and cools slowly. Then number two, land is stationary and water is mobile. That means land is, it cannot move, it cannot be shifted, isn't it? So a heated piece of land cannot go and mix with the cool land. Whereas your water is mobile, it's due to the movement of the water bodies like the ocean current, waves and the tides. So the warm water can easily go and join the cool water. Then third one is specific heat of land is 0.2 and the specific heat of water is 1.0. Now specific heat means it's a amount of heat, okay, which is required to raise the temperature. So in case of land is only 0.2. So in case of your water is 1.0. So therefore the water it requires more time to get heated and therefore its cooling is also slow.